Talisha, it's great to have you on the podcast today. How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, I'm good, sir. It's good to have you back on because I know we did one. When was it? Many months ago.
Yeah, it was in the first lockdown.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I think times
I
of.
didn't think this would happen, did we?
I know. Yeah, but but yeah, I just kind of like thought, kind of start off by talk about like personal development and business because you kind of run your own business in like Nottingham, and there's a lot of kind of trials and kind of curveballs that are along the way in business.
Yeah.
And we're saying that it can be stressful, but it's rewarding, and like how do you kind of like deal with all that to kind of balance it out? 'Cause talking about balance previously as well.
Yeah. No, you just sort of get on with it. I find I have to have a routine. If I don't, it don't throw me off too much if I don't stick to it for a day or two. But if I don't stick to a routine for, say, a week, I'll notice a big difference just in the way that I'm reacting to things, the way my day goes, patience, everything. So for me now, I've got in a routine where when I get up, I do my like thank yous, like literally the minute I open my eyes, I start my day grateful. So that makes me want to get out of bed rather than staying in bed. I'm not really a breakfast person. I should probably have a really good, healthy breakfast, but I don't. I'll have a nice hot drink in the morning, something refreshing, probably with ginger or lime or something that I know is going to give me some, what would it be called? Vitamins or whatever they give you.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a meditation morning. It's not as long as I would like it to be because I can never get up early enough for that. But I always like go through my chakras in the morning just to try and make sure that I'm like balanced and everything's aligned and what I mean?
Grounded.
I'm grounded for the day as I can be. Then I'll do like my prayers to set my intentions for the day. Then I'll get ready and I do my affirmations as well. So the goals that I'm looking to achieve at the minute. Most of them are coming true, which is good to see. Because when you first write them, you don't imagine. When you start seeing them actually coming true, it's amazing. Probably 2 of them, 3 of them that are actively like have happened or are happening. Do you know what I mean? They're really on the way. So yeah, I do my affirmations and then I head to work and usually have a good day. But it just helps me if something does happen that is unexpected, I'm ready to deal with it in like a calm, relaxed, don't let it stress me out way. Whereas if I have a week where I'm not meditating, not doing my affirmations, not praying, not doing any of that, and I'm just getting up and thinking I can handle the whole day by myself, the whole week by myself, any problems by myself, it becomes stressful. So that's sort of how I try to balance myself and it gives me energy as well. So when I meditate and I open my eyes, I then feel like I've got energy from the universe. It's like with me, whereas when I'm not meditating, I tend to get quite drained. So now it's like I have to do it. If I don't get me wrong, I can still get on with the day, but if I don't, I do slowly start to feel like I haven't got the energy to do everything. So yeah, that's my routine.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like it's so important, as you said as well, to have that kind of like routine in place, to kind of help you through the day as well. And I think it's important, like you said, to have goals that you want to work towards, and to write those goals down, to go over them and go back to them, kind of keep yourself on track. And like you said, like manifesting, what the things that you do want, because like law of attraction and your energy, and to get yourself in that zone and that mindset to really focus on your path. And I think, like you said, if you don't do those things, you kind of like you notice it.
Yeah, I feel a bit flaky. Yeah, if I don't do 100%.
And like, I think like, especially in what you're doing in your work, it's important to have that, and it kind of keeps yourself, like you said, motivated, and it does shift your energy. And I think we spoke about it last time. Like, we are all energy, and you have to kind of be aligned, like mentally and physically, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. And
Yeah.
I think it's great that you're doing that, and it's important. I think especially now with everything that's been happening, to look
Mm-hmm.
after your well-being, your diet and the things that you do.
Yeah. Do you do a routine in the morning?
I kind of, I have to kind of have like a cup of tea or coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to, but I like to.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bowl of cereal or porridge or toast or banana, and
Yeah.
then I'll work out after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to work out like 5 days a week, so I do it in the morning. Just press up. So some days I'll go for a jog, and
Mm-hmm.
then um, I'll get on with what I need to do and have a shower. And I notice if I don't do some of those things, I just feel that irritableness because I know I need to do it, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think like some of the same as with some of the things that I do in the morning, it gives you energy, don't it? So I know definitely exercising, it boosts your endorphins, gives you energy, and you feel like sort of strong for the day.
Mm. Yeah, no, exactly. I know that I should probably meditate. I should probably um, do things like that. I do write down goals, and I have like a whiteboard thing. I write things I need to do, but
Mm-hmm.
I should probably do meditation or like yoga or something like that, because I know, like you said, it's really helpful and has a lot
Yeah.
of benefits. But like, as a person, I think like it's vital that we do look after ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
because the thing is, if you're in a negative emotional state, you're going to probably be more susceptible to feeling stress, and that can
Yeah,
lead to a whole other load of things.
oh,
It's
definitely.
all right.
Yeah. Where's it gone? Low back. Didn't think about that, did I?
Is
Right.
it
Well,
is your battery okay?
it says low, however, it was on half. I thought it would last. Can you just bear with me a sec, yeah?
Yeah. Don't worry, don't worry.
Some videos.
Right, there we go. But
Okay.
yeah, sorry about that, because you had to go and get a charger. But yeah, we'll talk about like like your mindset and your energy and that routine and why that's important.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I just find that meditating, it gives me a lot of energy that I need. Definitely need
Mm,
it. Probably when I was younger, and you haven't got goals and things that you
mm,
want to achieve, and you're not so specific about what it is, maybe it's not so necessary. But as you get older and you start to feel like, you really want to achieve these things, and there's no way you cannot achieve them all, I feel like I need like I need help. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
And that's not like, obviously everyone needs help, your friends, your family, they can all get involved. And I've got people that work with me. My mum helps out, like I said, my dad does certain things for the business as well. But like within yourself, you need help to like stay sane, even
mm,
because it's not easy. You've got people working with you in your business, and sometimes you have to be the bad guy and say, this isn't being done properly, that isn't being done properly. And you don't want to have to make people feel like they're not. Do you know what I mean? So all of those things is quite a lot of weight on your shoulders. If
mm,
any customers have got a problem, that it all comes back to you. So
mm.
just as a human being, it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of stress. And so I feel like I definitely have to be connected with something higher than myself to be able to like handle it all.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's definitely it. And I mean, like in that kind of industry that you're in, like like, the food kind of industry where people come in and they'll have a meal, or like a takeaway, and you're, like you said, you are the kind of face, the kind of front that will deal with that backlash, regardless if that wasn't you who did that thing,
Mm.
and your employee did it. You're the owner of the company, and people are gonna, point the finger at you, kind of thing. And I think
100%.
it takes a lot to put yourself into that position, and I think it's great that you've taken that leap of faith almost, and you've pushed out your comfort zones, to me,
Yeah,
to get to that place.
yeah, it's true. And obviously, nobody cares about, when you do own a business or a brand, nobody cares about it as much as you do.
Mm,
You can't expect them to, but they really
mm,
don't. And so you sort of micromanaging everyone as well. So even if I'm not there, which is obviously why I pay people, because I like to also, I find my time to be a valuable thing. So I like to me, it's like an exchange of money for somebody
mm,
else's time, for
mm,
me to be away from the shop and have
mm,
my time. But then you're still never off working, because anyone's unsure about anything, they have to call me. Anything goes wrong, they have to call me. So you're
mm,
never off.
mm.
You're never off duty at all. Where's it gone?
So it's back now. It's back. But it's like you said, you're like on standby just in case something does happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at all times. So you're not ever fully relaxing. You're never
Mm,
really fully relaxing. I could feel like I need a nap, come home, have a sleep, been up since
mm,
7, and then get woken up and I can't think, I can't answer this. If it's someone calling from the shop, I have to answer. So
yeah.
meditation, it's not only good for trying, like, getting energy, making sure I'm like doing the right things as much as I can be. It's also good for escaping,
Mm.
like escapism from the world. Do you know what the problem is? I've got this phone plugged
It's
into the
all right.
TV because it's the
It's all right.
nearest plug socket and it keeps going on.
It's
USB
okay.
removed. Should I plug it
That's
into, when it does that, does the video cut off?
the yeah. We were saying using about like business and how you're on like standby, even though like you're not there. You have to kind of like deal with all these different things, and yoga meditation like help with that, because I suppose it kind of makes you more in the moment and grounded, and it can kind of shift your energy, can't it?
Yeah.
Have
Yeah,
is it?
I do love yoga. I do it now and again, and it's
Mm,
been sort of coming up in my head lately to do yoga. Just finding the time. I often feel
mm,
like I don't have. Once I've normally got in my phone a list of at least 5 to 10 things that need doing every day. Before I can do those things, I have to go to the shop, say 9:30, and make sure all the food's ready, make sure double the amount is ready and stored away in case it runs out when I'm not there, so they can just get it out. So I might get there at 9:30, I might not leave till 5:30. By then, I've probably got to go through this list and get a lot of the things done in the list. So yeah, I've been thinking about doing yoga. It's just fitting it in. I
mm,
suppose as time goes on, I hope to get more organised so that I
mm,
can literally do every single thing that I want to do and not feel like I'm slacking in any areas.
mm.
As long as I'm organised, I should be able to fit everything in at some point.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you're doing really well, but I think, like you said, it's those, life happens, doesn't it? Sometimes, and
Mm.
like, something might happen, and then you've got X amount of time to do the things you need to do.
Mm.
And it's kind of like, how you kind of respond, isn't it, to those things that come up? And
Yeah.
like, would you say like you have anyone you like look up to, who you kind of take positivity from, like
Yeah.
inspiration.
What, like famous people or?
Whether that's family, friends, famous people.
Um, I watch a lot of sort of Oprah just because obviously she's a billionaire. So with that, don't just come money. With that comes so much responsibility. She must have hundreds of employees. So I like to watch advice that she gives because she obviously knows how to be grounded, knows how to stay calm, knows how to get things done, knows how to be organized, knows how to sort of keep herself happy and keep her employees happy. So any advice that I can get is great. Do you know what I mean? And she's got such a, I won't say burden, because obviously it's a blessing, but at the same time, she's got she must have such a load, such a workload on her shoulders that any advice I can get from someone doing all of that is obviously, what I'm doing is minuscule. So to take her advice is obviously going to help me a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's really important, isn't it? To have something that you kind of draw from, whether that's like a role model or mentor or like books as well. Kind of that content that you can kind of take from and apply to your life and that advice. And it really does put things into perspective, doesn't it? When you, like you said, see people who are doing so much, like on a scale where even if they're on if they're on television or if they're in the media, like they have employees, they have all these other kind of networks with that.
Yeah, I read a lot of books as well. So, if I knew this question, I would have wrote down the authors and the names of the books. So I've got some really, really good books that I find really helpful.
Yeah.
So if I'm having like a bit of a week where I'm feeling like I don't know what I'm doing, because I sometimes do feel like that, believe it or not, I read a few pages from maybe 3 or 4 books, and it just puts everything back together again, if that makes sense.
Yeah. If like, I mean, have you got them in your house now?
Yeah, do you want me to get them?
You can always get them, and yeah, that's fine. I'll pause this quick and then.
Shall I get them now, or shall I get them at the end?
Yeah, get them. Get them now if you want, because you're talking about it. Yeah.
All right, 2 seconds.
It's all right. So yeah, we just paused there because you had to go and get your books that was talking about. But which ones are they? What they about?
So I haven't read them all because, like I was just saying to you off camera, I get a bit bored. So I'll go from sort of one book to another. So this is one of them. Excuse the mess. This is from maybe a bit of water dripping on it if you're reading in the bath.
Yeah.
But this is Rich Dad Poor Dad. This is about a guy that basically grows up with 2 dads. So one's his dad and one's his friend's dad. And they've both got totally different outlooks on money. So one of them is very good with money and one isn't. So he goes through, obviously, their different viewpoints. Hence the title, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So yeah, that's quite interesting. But it also teaches you about assets and savings, liabilities, expenses, taxes, income, the difference between an asset and a liability. Simple stuff really, but I don't know if you can see where's the camera.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. Working for an owner or working for the government or working for the bank or having your own business. So it even goes into that. It's quite good.
Yeah, no, I've heard good things about that book. I haven't read it before, but I've heard good things. It's like a classic because I think it talks also a lot about like how your environment and, like you said, the parent, what people believe and take in from their parents, isn't it, as well?
100%. So a lot of people, not everyone, because some people might be brought up with like limited money in their household, and it makes them want to always have money and really go for it. but then I think the majority end up just following what they've seen. So it depends on your perspective, don't it? And then what you're gonna do with it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, so that's quite good. I haven't finished it, but it's quite interesting. Teaches you about like passive income, earned income, portfolio income. So it goes into if you want to buy properties and different things you can do within your business. So yeah, that's quite a good one. They're not all about money, but they are. The Millionaire Course.
Nice.
This one's more like it gives you a bit of sort of homework. So as you're going through, you're kind of following the steps. So there's a step where it will say, there'll be like a to-do list. So it will say maybe like, write out, I don't know, your 5 goals for the year. And then further on in the book, it might give you affirmations to do. So this book's quite interesting because it's not just to read, it's to actually do stuff as well.
Like an exercise kind of like guide.
Yeah, it's like a guide. And it does say to you, come back to the book, you know, go over things, try not to forget things. And like the first page, it says, welcome to this adventure. So you feel like you're actually doing, it's quite exciting because it explains in the book about like law of attraction and how your affirmations, if you do them the right way and write them the right way, use the right words and stuff, that your affirmations will come true. So it's really exciting to see, like I said to you earlier, when they start coming true. Like it's really fascinating.
That's awesome. Like I think, like you said, with affirmations and the way that you think and the words that you use, and your behaviors, it's all interlinked. And I think, like you said, you have to kind of use the right language, with what you're thinking and what you're feeling and the things that you want. Because I think if you don't have that right kind of inner dialogue, then it's going to be very, very difficult to get those things that you want, if that makes sense. Because if you're saying to yourself, I'm not going to have that thing one day, or I can't afford it, you're going to attract that because you're thinking, oh, I can't afford it. But like that, and I think that's a great book to be reading as well, because there's so much that you can take from it as well.
So much, and it's as much about what you say to yourself and what you say to others. Do you know what I mean? It's not just about the words that you say out loud. It's about the things that you say to yourself, like you just said, and then be conscious of what you say to other people as well, and the things that you say, which is really interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that's important as well, because like, what you give out, you get back, don't you? If you're communicating a certain way to certain people, then you're going to get that back. It's that kind of cycle, isn't it? I mean, sometimes life happens. We can all make mistakes or say things sometimes, but I think that's pretty important as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, this is definitely a good book.
What if you got 2 more there? Did you say?
2 more books. So I've got. So this one's more like spiritual. So this is Raise Your Vibration. And it's just what it says really. So it's about just like getting connected. It gives you some breathing techniques. It gives you a lot of affirmations in this book. On every other page, really, you get affirmations. And it just tells you about signs as well in life. So now you can be walking down the street and hear someone shout your name, but they haven't. So it just tells you about stuff like that, or repetitive numbers. So I really regularly see 1111 several times throughout the day. If I look at my phone, it's 1111 or 2222 all the time. So this book sort of tells you what seeing certain numbers mean. And it speaks about what vibrations and frequencies you're on as well. So how do we explain that? So like you just said, you get what you attract what you give. So if you wake up in a miserable mood, wrong side of the bed, don't want to get out of bed, stumble around, don't have a routine. Just things like not making your bed, having a messy home, all of those things you don't realise are actually negative, the weighing down on you, the negative. Do you know what? Me personally, if my house is a mess, I feel like my day won't be organised. I can't think straight. So yeah, how you start your day is going to put you on a certain vibration. So if I get out of bed late, don't manage to get myself a nice hot drink, don't manage to meditate, don't manage to pray, you know, have to rush my shower, rush getting ready, I don't feel like I look well presentable. How can I expect my day to go well? Don't get me wrong, it could, but I've got a far better chance of having a really good day if I set my vibration for the day to be like on a high level of like positivity.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think that's a really good point. Like, you know, those kind of early moments of when you wake up in the morning and how, you know, how you start your day kind of domino effects throughout that day and how you feel. And I think, like you said, you might be able to turn it around if you know, you might be able to shift your emotional state later on, but it's a lot harder if you've kind of started out on a bit of a bad one.
Yeah. And I think something I'm learning now at the moment as well, you can start your day as positive as you want. You can still bump into, excuse my French, but an arsehole.
Yeah.
You know, after an hour after you've left your house, you can bump into the most horrible person. Yeah. Now, they're on their negative vibe. Now, if you're doing your job properly, they shouldn't be able to really penetrate your emotions and what you're doing. You should be able to be like, whoa, like, not today. Do you know what I mean? But we're only human. We're not perfect. So you do have days where you can do everything the right way. So you feel, and people and things that happen, external things, can still bother you. But I think as I'm meditating more and more regular, I'm finding it easier to, if I do let something bother me, quickly center myself again, like much sooner. Whereas before, I might let something bother me for the whole day, maybe days. Now it's like within half an hour, I can get back to being positive. So I'm seeing a difference.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think like it's great that you're able to do that and you've been working on that. And I think it's definitely one of those things where, you know, someone can say something or something can happen and, you know, it can kind of sit on our shoulders sometimes. And, you know, you kind of ponder on it. And I mean, thinking back to when I worked in restaurants, I remember like, you know, you'd get sometimes a negative customer. They might say something and then you got that on your mind and then the chef might say something. And if you start thinking about it, it just dominoes and you know, what you think you attract, don't you? And your energy goes to that. And then, you know, but I think like you said, with meditation, you're able to channel in more to yourself and bounce back quicker. And I think that's important because, you know, if you're not okay, it's going to probably affect other people that you're working with as well, or your family and things like that.
Of course, yeah. I also feel like, I don't know how true this is, but if I'm in a really good frame of mind, you know, the shop does better, we have more customers. So, you know, it's a good day of business, as in the turnover, as in, you know, a business is to make money. So obviously the turnover is much better because I don't know what, just everything just aligns right for the day. So I feel like it's as much, obviously it's about the customer service, the quality of the food, you know, the staff obviously treating the customers right, serving people in a timely manner. All of that obviously plays a big part. But I also feel like if I wake up super positive and I set a number for the day, it's very, very, very likely to happen. Which is, again, I find it so interesting.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting because I think like as human beings that there is only kind of there's so much that people can kind of see and pick up on and understand. And I think like people as you said before, like, it's energy, and, it comes down to the law of attraction as well. That if, your energy is in a good place, you're going to be more positive. The people who work for you are going to, they're going to feel that
Do a
as
better
well.
job.
And
Yeah.
they're going to give more energy into what they're doing as well. And I think, like you said, if you kind of manifest, certain, say numbers, of
Yeah.
income, that energy, and that, you're going to attract that. I mean, that's like you said, it can be pretty crazy, if that happens. But
Yeah.
I think everything's all connected.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite, like you said, because you can't see it, it's quite unbelievable. But when you do get into certain books and they're all saying the same thing, even when it comes to religion, if you really break it down, a lot of it's saying the same thing. We're capable as human beings of so much more than we can see, and that most people are aware of. It's insane what we can actually do. And it's insane that most of us don't even realise what we're capable of.
Yeah.
So it's really, I keep saying interesting, but it's so
Yeah.
interesting. I find it so fascinating and so enjoyable to like learn about and stuff. This one, bet you've heard of this?
I've heard of
Becoming
it.
Supernatural.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it. Like,
Yeah. So this is a doctor, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he deals with like meditation and spirituality, mostly meditation, affirmations and stuff, but he's also a scientist, he's a doctor. So he really, like, in this book, like thoroughly explains this. He matches up the science with the spirituality, where usually they're opposites, and he matches them together, and he tells you about studies that have been done on the brain, where you can see on graphs like the frequencies changing in the room. You can see people, you've got them cameras where you can see colours, the auras.
Yeah.
So it will do like group meditations with like hundreds of people. It's a really well-known person. And when everyone gets to a certain level of meditation, which is called ascending, where you feel like you literally, you're in your third eye.
Yeah.
You can see through the cameras, because it's combining science, that the colours of the room change. Everybody sort of becomes one as they all reach this certain point. It's crazy. So this book, I've got loads left to read. It's quite complicated, but I understand it. Sometimes when I read these books, I might not understand all of the words if it's like scientific, but it makes sense to me still. So yeah, this is really good.
That one's called Becoming Supernatural.
Yeah, by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah. No, it is amazing. And I think, like, it's so important to read, books, and to, like I said, look at content that you can resonate with. And I think that's going to help you grow as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even, you telling me about this is, I'm learning new things about it, and people listening as well. And I think it's definitely something that's kind of coming out more in the media as well, because especially in businesses, in corporate businesses, a lot of people are, I did a podcast with a lady who does mindfulness courses, and she goes into businesses, corporate companies, and does mindfulness. And if people are feeling better in their work, in themselves, they're going to do a better job. And then that's going to, benefit, the company as well. Whereas if you've got people who are stressed and not happy, they're going to perform as good as the people compared to the people who are happy doing what they're doing, and happy in themselves.
Yeah. Something this book teaches, the Millionaire one, it teaches about, if you are in business and stuff, to do certain things like profit sharing, because it's about not being selfish as well. And as much as I'd want to build something for future generations of my family, like you said, if people are happy, they're going to do a better job. So if you give them an incentive and do things like profit sharing, you know, bonuses and stuff. Yes, you are taking that out of the profit for the company, but that's just temporary. But in the long run, because you're making everyone else happy, your dreams are quicker achieved as well, because everyone's going to benefit from the company doing better, not just you. If it's just you benefiting, there's actually no point. What is the point?
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that kind of comes into you know, like as well, giving more than you expect to receive, you know, especially for for our own needs, because it's that kind of selfishness, isn't it? If someone's, and it happens in companies, some people are like that, but if someone's like that, the people who are working for them aren't really going to respect them, then this is why some companies flop and fail,
Yeah.
because the people at the top are in that state. And I think, like you said, it's important you're doing something you love, and you're going to make sensible decisions that are going to work out in the long term as well.
Yeah, and keep everyone happy. Yeah. You just picked up on a point that's in this book. This one's called Happy Money.
Oh, nice.
And this guy's like a Chinese, they call him the Zen millionaire, Ken Honda. And it's the Japanese art of making peace with your money. So it's like we were saying earlier, if you brought up in a bit of poverty or whatever, then that's going to be your relationship with money. And that's what you're going to get back from it. So what is it you just said that made me think about this?
Give more than you expect to receive.
Yeah, he says, what does he say in this book? Money EQ. Yeah, this one's more about like your emotional attachment to money. So yeah, again, if you're doing negative things with your money, say you own a company and you've had to put people's wages down or get rid of people, it's like a negative karma. Where you might feel like you need to do it for the time being, but what's going to come back to you from that is again negative. So yeah, again, just as the law of attraction in your personal life, it's the same with like your business and money. It's the same sort of rules that apply. It's basically what this guy's saying.
Yeah. No, it's so important, isn't it? What we're talking about, because it's like, you have to have that. I think a lot of it comes down to, your mindset, doesn't it? As well, like that mindset that you have, and, your energy, and kind of keeping, like you said, you're trying to keep your personal life separate from your work as well. Because the thing, sometimes people, if they let their personal life kind of leak into their work life, that's going to affect the business and how it's running as well. I've seen that working in hotels and restaurants where, chefs or the managers are letting certain things come in conflict with their work, and then they're negative, in a negative mood, and negative in the job, and it just dominoes. So I think it's, like, as you know yourself, you run a business, you have to kind of keep that balance amongst everything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And like as well, like you were talking earlier, like you're a singer as well, and you make your own music. Like,
yeah, so music's like more of a passion. I think I started writing when I was about 9, and for me music is like my therapy. So I don't know, I just get moments in time where I constantly want to write poems and songs and stories. It's like a release, so that's something that I've always loved doing. However, obviously, as you get older, you realise that the things that you have to put your most energy, well, you don't have to, but I've chose to obviously put most of my energy into is what pays the bills, what makes money.
Yeah.
That comes first. But at the moment, I'm doing up the spare room, and I'm gonna put, like, I've got an Apple Mac, and I've got a mic stand, and I've got a mic, and I've got a mixer, so I've got most of the stuff. I've got the thing that goes behind the mic for like the vibrations and stuff. And the business is doing really well. So I'm actually going to, within the next sort of 6 months, have my own like home studio, really. So
Yeah.
I'll have a lot more time with it being at home as well to work on that. And yeah, again, it's about the things that you are doing lead into where you want them to go. So I want my businesses to lead to me having free time, to lead to me doing things that I'm really passionate about. I mean, I love cooking and I love business. I love, having to be creative and thinking of ways to get customers and, food pictures and competitions. It still allows me to be artistic and creative, and there's a lot that I enjoy about it. But again, it has to come first because it's what brings in the money.
Yeah.
And then it will be the music. So eventually I just want to be able to do everything that I love to do. And have the time to do it.
That's it. And I find that really, motivating and inspiring that, you're doing that. And, I think, like you said before, there's so much that we can do as a person. We don't have to do, there's nothing wrong with working, certain jobs, but I think, we're capable of doing so much more if we put our minds to it. And, what you're doing now is, you enjoy what you're doing, but it's helping you feed and nurture these other things you're doing on the side. And, and this is what I listened to on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was saying, do a job, but, find what it is on the side that, you love as well, and just feed that and tame that, whatever that is. And
sorry, I just had a phone call.
No, it's okay. That's all right. And it's, I think in what you're doing as well, sometimes people don't do certain things because they're probably worried what people are going to think as well, and their opinions.
Yeah. I saw you saying that the other day on one of your, I don't know if it was a live video or a recorded one, but I saw you saying a lot of people don't go for their dreams, not because they don't feel confident that they can do it, but more what will other people say? Will they laugh? But the thing is, I don't think we realise when people do sort of maybe mock us for going for our dreams, it's sort of like who do they think they are? That's how people look at you, don't they? If you go for your dreams, people are like, well, what makes you think you can do that sort of thing? It's not a reflection on us, though. I think we mistake that for being, we sort of absorb that and think, who do I think I am? Why am I doing this? This ain't, I wasn't like, am I born to do this? Like, should I be doing this? We start doubting ourselves when really it's just a reflection on how they feel about themselves. We project how we feel on others, how we feel about ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, of course, it's a projection. Is a projection of the way how
insecurities.
Yeah, and I think it's good to know the difference from that and to be aware of that, because it's people can be stuck in that place and they can shelve ideas based on the way other people are thinking about them externally. And I did that with this podcast for 2 years. I had the idea for 2 years, and I was like, I'm going to do it, and then I didn't do it, and I was worried about what people are going to think, how people are going to react. But you have to just do, and don't as you know when what you're doing, just go into it and do it and not care about it.
So true. And like I say, all the sort of successful actors and famous people, there's a lot of videos where they'll say the other side of fear is where you'll find sort of, I don't know if you'd call it your heaven on earth or your happiness, your fulfillment. So the other side of fear is where you should be. That is where you should. Do you know what I mean? But then again, some people are happy, they just want a family life, happy to just, I shouldn't say just, happy to have a partner, have a 9 to 5 and have children. Absolutely their idea of heaven. If that's your idea of heaven, then you've made it in life. Do you know what I mean? And then some of us idea of heaven is having several businesses and going on holiday 10 times a year. Everyone's idea of heaven is different, isn't it? So it just depends. Some of us choose the harder options. I only want to be a famous singer, actress, model, have 5 businesses, a food shop, an aesthetics company. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Oh, I don't want too much, do I?
Yeah. I think it's piecing things together at a time, isn't it? And I think success and happiness is a very, very personal thing. And I think, like you said, and what, sometimes I say, people, just want a normal job and they just want to, have a family, and that's fine. If, I think as long as you're happy, then that's great. That's kind of how we should be,
that's all you can ask for, to be happy.
And I think like certain, like entrepreneurship and business, certain things aren't for everybody. And there's a lot of risk involved, all of these things. But I think ultimately you've got to be happy, because I think there are people out there doing certain jobs and they love it. And that's, that makes their day. I'm sure there are bus drivers out there who love being a bus driver and love interacting with the people they meet. So I think, like I said, people need to do whatever makes them happy, whatever that is. And,
definitely, because we all affect each other. So like you said, if you're a bus driver and that makes you happy, that's amazing, because guess what? Because you're happy, everyone that's got on the bus that day that's interacted with you and you've been bubbly and you're just happy to be at work, you could have cheered someone's day up. You could have, made a lot of people smile. Then they're going to go and probably make a few people happy that day. So like you said, it don't matter what does make you happy, what job makes you happy. It's a knock-on effect for everyone that you meet, which is amazing. Like, if we could all, be in that space, how nice would the world be?
Yeah. And that's what I kind of think about when I go to coffee shops. You probably notice it when you go to a coffee shop and you see someone on, the barista machine, and they love what they do, and they're interacting with the customer and they remember your face or your name. It makes you want to go back there. And that's kind of what is, shifted me to, like, especially my barbers. And if you're like your hairdressers, if they're happy, it's a nice vibe, because they enjoy their business, what they're doing.
Of course.
And my barber's got his own coffee now, so I'm like, great, I want to go there, because of the energy and the vibe you get, and I think it's important.
Yeah, it's a lot in business as well. It goes a long way. There's a massive difference between having a business, just wanting, if you just focused on the money, you're not going to do a good service for your customers, for no one. You're going to think, I've got your money, I'm happy now, as long as my takings are this. That's not what it's about. Your business is going to fail. You need to make people happy. You need to make your customers happy. You need to, you want your staff to be happy. And then your business, the knock-on effect from that is that your business is going to do well, because like you said, people want to come in. We have a lot of banter and stuff with our customers. I always say to the staff, while the customer's waiting for the food, have a little chit chat with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you all right? Or wait, do you know what I mean? Make them feel good, because it's our job. They've come into our shop. It's our job to put them at ease, make them feel comfortable. If they're struggling to maybe pick something off the menu, I'll say to them, do you fancy chicken, or do you fancy like maybe lamb chops or some red meat, or do you fancy, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just interact with them, because it puts them at ease. And like you said, they'll want to come back. And a lot of, and this is just a fact, a lot of Jamaican shops, and mine sort of like, we don't do all Caribbean food, but I do like mutton and rice and stuff, are actually known, and it's just the culture, but a lot of Jamaican shops, there's quite a lot in Nottingham, are actually known for the lack of service. And it's just the culture, but it can put people off going to your shop. You might lose a good percentage just because you didn't smile once at the customer. Do you know what I mean? They might not want to come back if you're just staring at someone like this. And you know what I mean? They're not going to come back. You're the whole purpose of
Yeah.
your business is to make money. You're losing customers because you don't want to
Mm.
just smile and be a bit polite and use your manners.
Yeah, yeah,
Quite
yeah.
simple, but you'd be
It's
shocked.
it's important because it's like, that it's that experience, isn't it? You're providing,
Mm.
an experience, a service,
Yeah.
and like to say, provide value. You're providing value and experience and a
Mm.
service to that customer, and there's that word of mouth, and that person could say to their friend, "Oh, I had a really good time there. Go there for a drink or something to eat," and they
Yeah,
go, and then that person tells someone, and before you know it, based on that one person, you've got 30 people coming there from that.
exactly.
So it's vital. It's
Yeah,
vital in TripAdvisor and the internet and reviews.
yeah,
Um, it's massive, and it's so important because you're the front face. Like, working in hotels, you're the front face of the company,
yeah.
and how you hold yourself and how you come across reflects
Mm-hmm.
back on the place, and yourself as a boss. So
100%.
it's people don't really think of that sometimes, but it's all interconnected and it all kind of adds up.
Yeah, definitely.
But as well, like, I've got like 10% battery. Oh my god.
Okay.
But like, to like round up, like, what would you say to anyone kind of wanting to start out in life, in business, or
In business.
or in what advice would you give to people trying to find out what it is that they want to do, or going to business, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I would just say absolutely follow your gut instincts, follow your heart. It's not easy. You will get, slight failures, slight things that sort of throw you off track a bit, things that make you think, oh, this ain't for me. You will have all of that. But it's on the other side of that that is the best. It's worth doing. It's always worth doing in the end.
Mm,
Like, basically, you have to go through the hardest times to get the best rewards.
mm,
Cliches, nothing worth having comes easy. All
yeah.
them sayings that you hear are sayings for a reason. They're very true.
Mm, mm,
So, just because something's difficult, don't do it. It's the most difficult things are the most rewarding. So always, always go for it, and then just make sure you're keeping yourself happy, positive, focused, and sort of at peace. Don't let it all
I
overcome
do.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's really great advice, and I think, like you said, um, you know, b- even though it's difficult, there's like kind of like so much growth to take place from that as well, isn't it? Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's true, and I think it's great what you're doing, and
Thank you.
I wish you welcome, and I wish you the continued best in your music and that project, and your business as well, and like where can people find your business, and where can people find you on social media and your website and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, thanks for that. And same to you with your podcast and everything. You've done a
No, you're
great
welcome.
job just starting and it's going really well.
No, thank you.
No worries. Can't get my words out.
So-
Instagram. It's 5-star wings and desserts on Instagram. So it's the number 5_wings_and_desserts. My Instagram is tileasha, TILEASHA_Leanne. I do a bit of singing and stuff on there, don't I? And just random stuff. But yeah, they're my socials.
Yeah.
We've got a YouTube channel with my friends as well called Girls Talk. So I think there's about 13 episodes. The link for
Nice.
that is on my Instagram bio. So yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. And your business is in Nottingham. So if anyone's in the UK or come to Nottingham or the UK, it's
Yeah.
in Nottingham Centre, right?
Yeah, it's in Nottingham. We're on just the Uber Deliveroo. So if you put 5-star wings in there, you'll find us. We've got good reviews, 5-star,
Yeah.
5-star reviews, 5-star food hygiene, all of that. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. And like I said, I wish you all the best. And it's been great having you back on the podcast. And I hope you have a lovely evening.
You too. It's been lovely speaking to you.
No, you too.
I'm gonna crack on with my box.
Yeah.
Try and get through